so I'd like to call this meeting to order. Would everyone please rise with me for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Looks like it's over here.
It doesn't take much. Yes, but I know. Then they moved it. That was bad.
Yeah. Who's up first? Assessor Cry. Here. Highway Commissioner Bouvet. Here. Clerk Giovanni here. Supervisor Diamond. Here. Trustee Jones.
Here.
Trustee Horvath.
Here.
Trustee Maher. Here. Trustee Malik.
Here. Thank you. All right, next, the first item on our agenda is approval of minutes. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the March 28, 2023 board meeting?
Move to approve the minutes of the March 28th, 2023 board meeting. Second.
Are there any corrections or comments about the, yes, Councilor.
This is the item discussion and possible vote on the landscape contract. I made a comment on the landscape company, it's not included in this minutes. And I did not receive the contract because I was disagree on this contract, so I have to sign that the contract.
What was your comment at the time?
They should know what I made at that time. I cannot remember right now, but I did say this company was not performing as per my expectation.
Okay, all right.
And I did not receive the contract to sign it because I didn't vote on that contract.
All right, and your comment was this company will not perform according to your expectations?
Yeah, because of them, we have a problem with them. They're not doing properly the landscaping, So there's a no, even they provide you the scope of work. So that's why I was disagreeing on this contract.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Does anyone else have any comments on that, or whether they recall it or not, or was it any different than that?
I just remember us discussing getting a itemized list of what they were going to be doing.
Okay.
So I do remember Trustee Malik saying something that in that vein, when you just suggested, but I don't remember the exact words.
Okay. Well, let's see, who is the movement on that? Okay. Do you want to continue with your motion, or amend your motion, or?
Do you want them added in? I mean, are you looking for your comments to be added?
Yeah,
The
please.
timestamp?
Yeah, please they can add in my comments on that.
Okay.
If you want to amend
Yeah,
your motion.
sure. Okay, I'd like to amend my motion to approve the minutes of March 28th, 2023 with the addition of Trustee Malik's comments on landscaping, at least the timestamp on video or audio. Second.
Okay. All right, any further comments or questions?
Thanks.
Okay, all right. Make a roll call.
Supervisor Diamond.
Yes.
Trustee Jones.
Yes.
Trustee Horvath.
Yes.
Trustee Maher.
Abstain.
Trustee Malik.
Yes.
Okay, may I have a motion to approve the minutes of March 20, 2023 General Town Fund and General Assistance Budget Hearing?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of March 28th, 2023, General Town Fund and General Assistance Budget Hearing. Second.
Okay, any questions or comments about these minutes? All right, hearing none, may I have a roll call?
Supervisor Diamond.
Yes.
Trustee Jones.
Yes.
Trustee Horvath.
Yes.
Trustee Maher.
Abstain.
Trustee Malik.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, let's move on to the next agenda item. May I have a motion to approve the general assistance expenditures?
Motion to approve payroll for pay dates of March 31st, 2023 and April 14th, 2023, and general assistance checks number 54664V through check number 54845 in the amount of $52,972.54.
Thank you.
Any comments on this? All right, roll call, please.
Supervisor Diamond?
Yes?
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Horvath?
Yes.
Trustee Maher?
Yes.
Trustee Willie?
Yes.
All right, thank you. May I have a motion to approve the road district expenditure?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Motion to approve payroll for pay dates of March 31st, 2023 and April 14th, 2023, and road district checks number 22836 through check number 22881 in the amount of $113,059.60.
Second.
Any comments, questions? Roll call, please.
Supervisor Diamond?
Yes?
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Horvath?
Yes.
Trustee Maher?
Yes.
Trustee Willie?
Yes.
Now may I have a motion to approve the general town fund expenditures? A motion for the general town.
Motion to approve payroll for the pay dates of March 31st, 2023 and April 14, 2023 and general town fund checks 60126 through check 60196 in the amount of $354,449.01.
Second.
Any questions or comments about that? I have a roll call.
Supervisor Diamond?
Yes?
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Horvath?
Yes.
Trustee Maher?
Yes.
Trustee Willie?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. It's now time for public participation. Do we have any requests for public participation? Thank you very much. We do have a few. So the first one here is Deborah Garte. Deborah, would you like to step up to our microphone over here?
Okay, I can just talk loud. We had, we came here a few months ago and asked for a light to be installed on Lincoln Avenue. We have a motion detector light installed. It's okay. It comes on right as the car is underneath it. It stays on for a few seconds, turns off. And we still have little kids running around on the streets, and it's getting lighter, and they're playing out there longer. You know, I'm just a little bit concerned about our block being so dark.
Okay, Ed, are you familiar with this?
Yeah, I mean, we added a motion light to try to help the problem, but as far as installing a light, the neighbors would have to get together with ComEd to come up with the expense to pay for that install. So I did send my foreman out there, and I'm not sure if anybody proceeded with contacting ComEd for to get a quote on that. So, but I'd be happy to follow up with you again. I'd be happy to follow up and have somebody meet you out on site and facilitate the ComEd meeting.
Do we have any kind of idea what kind of cost or amount there is?
It's roughly between $5,000 and $10,000 to install a pole, a light pole.
No, the pole is already there. We need just a light fixture.
Right, to run the power there.
The power's there at the pole.
So if the power's there, then ComEd would have to come out and give you a quote for that. But I could facilitate
Why do we have to pay for it?
because you're requesting
We
me.
pay taxes, that's what our taxes for.
Well,
The corner's got a light, and the other corner's got a light, the middle of the block doesn't have any light. Why don't we have a light there, just like the corner ones? I'm pretty sure they're installed where the streets or poles were put up freely, then we should get the same thing freely.
like I said, we could look into the price and trying to help, but we're not, if we put up a light pole for everywhere that people wanted one, we wouldn't have enough money to do that at all.
Yeah, but all the rest of the streets have a light in the middle of the block, and our street doesn't.
I understand, but like I said, I'd be happy to work with it and see if there's something that can be done.
Yeah, the street before, on Davis Street, they have a light right in the middle. And we don't.
Sir,
Why is that?
are you Joseph Figueroa?
Yes.
Okay, fine, I just need to know who's speaking, and the woman who's taking minutes over here needs to know that too. So you're the second person on our list for public comment right here. Did you have other things you wanted to say about this?
I can't hear you. Put the mic close to your mouth.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, did you have other comments you wanted to make?
No, the comment is why do we have to pay for it?
Okay,
When the lights were installed, when the community was built, I don't think nobody paid for the lights and fixtures up there. you put this light sensors on there, which is like a 5 candles power bar, which is ridiculous. I think the community, if we pay taxes, should be done freely by you guys here.
Well, if you want, like I said, if you want to give me your number and contact information, we could have somebody meet you out there to see what can be, worked out, if
Well, you can
anything.
look around my name on the
Okay.
phone book.
Okay, next person is Eric Chua. Mr. Chua, you live on Lincoln Avenue too? Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am. My name's Eric Chua, and just like these folks, we're all neighbors on the same neighborhood. And I just want to give you a brief description of where the power pole is versus to the street. It's about 25 to 30 feet from the street. So as Mr. Joe has mentioned, there is a light there at the moment. However, it's motion detected. It is detecting motion in the street, but when there's light, it's not projecting on the street. Now, on other streets, what we observed, there's actually an extension from the power pole to the street to actually project those lights. But currently, we don't have that. We just have a little light, like, have a security light from your house. That's how it looks like right now. So,
Okay.
and I got kids in front of that light pole, because I do live in front of that light, and they do play at night sometimes. Well, not really late, but when it gets dark, we do have a lot of people walking down the street. So it's security and also safety for the neighborhood.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Are you aware, sir, is that a telephone pole or is that a comment pole?
It's got multiple,
Because last time we checked, it was a telephone pole, so we would.
it's got telephone, power, it's got everything. So utility pole for everything.
It sounds like you're asking for a better light, not an additional light fixture, a better light. Is that right?
A light on an extension where it shoots out to the street, not underneath the pole.
What 100 block is it in Lincoln? What 100 is it?
9100.
9100.
9100. All right, thank you. So we know exactly what we're talking about. A light that goes onto the street and lights up a bigger area and has a better effect. Is that right?
Currently, I apologize for interrupting you. Currently, the block doesn't have any light. The next block has a light pole, and the block behind us has light poles, but the entire block doesn't have one. So if you drive there at night, it's completely dark.
Okay, I also have a request for public participation from Animesh Ghoshal.
Yes.
I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly,
My
sir.
name is Ghoshal, a longtime resident of this area. I've been here for 35 years. And I'd like to thank the board for all the work they've done for us. Generally, we've been very happy with this issue. I think we came here a while ago and asked for a light. And as you know, the light was put up, which is helpful, but it could be improved, as my neighbors have said. One is it needs to be a regular bulb rather than a motion-sensitive bulb, so that it stays on all night. Eric here has small children who play in the street. Other children play in the street, and I'm very worried about them because now in the summer they're going to be out in the street. Second thing is, also as one of my neighbors said, an extension would be very helpful. So that right now it lights up my house and the house of my neighbor next door to me. Others don't get any light from it, so it would be much better if we could do that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, that concludes the list of individuals who have asked for public participation. So thank you very much, and we will move on to our next agenda item, which is under whole business. I have down here discussion and possible vote on annual code hosting by Unicode. I still have not received a quote for the annual hosting from Unicode, so I'm afraid I don't have anything to share with you. I am, at this point, prepared just to take it off the agenda, and because this has been 3 months now, and I still haven't heard from it. If I do hear anything, I will put it on next month's agenda. So, sorry, I'm not further on that. All right, but we do have a number of items under new business. And the first one is a presentation by Catherine Sparra of the National Group Health Alliance and a possible vote the health plan, employee health plan that she's bringing us this evening. Catherine, you have given us a handout, which I think we have up here. Did you want to start?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is that mic on? I don't think it's on.
I don't think it's on.
Dana? Mike?
Okay, I think I got it, thanks. Sorry. Okay, so this year, Blue Cross did as requested and gave it to us really early. This is the earliest we ever got the renewal, so we were able to even get it reduced by the time we came to this meeting here and had all the marketing done, so that was very helpful. When we first got the Blue Cross renewal, it was 7.43%, which was actually pretty good, pretty fair, because if you, well, it's like the fifth page in, sorry. But we got it reduced to 4, so the actual number is 4.24% is what the health renewal is going to renew at. And we do have a lot of still pretty large active claims, so I think Blue Cross is being extremely fair. Unfortunately, United Healthcare, who would be, they have given us really good quotes over the last few years. We've decided not to move there, but they declined to quote this year based on health risk. I have to give these other carriers your renewal, and just like you see listed on the renewal, different claims that are still active or not. There's a couple that were canceled out because of people that were on the plan that are no longer on the plan. However, there's still a lot of large active claims. So United Healthcare declined to quote, didn't want to give us an offer. Humana is no longer in the health market. They left the health market. And then I had one other that I was trying to get. We talked a little bit at our preview meeting, and they declined to quote as well because of the still active, pretty large claims that we have. So basically our choices are Blue Cross Blue Shield. I do have third page in, I have that to show you in a presentation spreadsheet where you'll see the first 2 plans are Blue Cross Blue Shield, the current plans. First one is the HMO, where we have a couple people in that, and then most of everybody is in the PPO grandfathered plan. So that grandfathered plan, along with, they're already the grandfathered rates. Usually when I come to this meeting in April, I've just received the renewal and I don't have the grandfathered rates yet, but it's all done. These are the rates for the grandfathered plan at the, not the third column. It's the, if you look in the,
What page?
so it should be your 4th page.
Thank you. Thank you. 4th page.
So spreadsheet like that.
Thanks. The highlighted with the yellow.
Yeah. So the highlighted program is actually, I'm usually asked to show you what if we didn't have the grandfather plan, what would that look like? So that's what I did ahead of time, and I showed you what that would look like. So if you renewed with the current first two columns is the plans that you have right now, and if you renewed in those 2 plans, your increase would be 4.24% with no changes to plan designs at all. And then the third one would be a replacement for the grandfathered plan. That would be the closest I could get to your grandfathered PPO plan. So you see it is more exposure on the out-of-pocket. Instead of 500, it's 1,250, and for a family, it's...
Where are you reading now? I'm sorry.
Which column?
So the third column is would be the closest plan to the grandfather plan if you didn't stay with the grandfather plan.
Are you on this page?
Yes.
Same page.
Yes. So the deductible is $250. You currently have a $500 deductible. The family deductible would be $750. You currently have a $1,500. It's 80% plan instead of 90% plan. The out-of-pocket's $1,250. You currently have $500. The out-of-pocket family is $3,750. Currently, it's $1,500. A primary care visit's $20 instead of $10 that you have now. $40 for specialist. You have $30 now. And then you're 20% after deductible instead of 10% after deductible. I wouldn't say the percentage is really that big a difference from 10 to 20%, but there is additional out-of-pocket that is a lot higher if you switch to this plan. So this plan would actually be a decrease of 18.37%. And that's if we had the people in the HMO, our enrollment, that we have 2 people in there, and then everybody else who's currently in the grandfather plan and this plan, that's how that would look. So the numbers you see in that last column all going all the way down, that's relating to the current HMO and this alternate instead of the grandfather plan.
So Catherine, on the 4th page, you have a chart that looks like this.
Okay, so that's, it should say 4.30%.
Where would it say that?
So if you look down towards
Oh, I see.
the bottom of the page. Right. So that's the rate relief, reduced rate renewal that I received. And that's where we're gonna be, so they're not gonna go lower than that. That's where they're taking us with the grandfather plan, the current plans that you have people enrolled in right now. It came out originally at 7.43%.
So Catherine, on this chart, it shows Medicare primary single and Medicare primary single plus 1, but you don't really offer that, do you?
I don't know why they put that on there. It's very confusing. It doesn't apply to you because of your group size. Right. The people that are on Medicare on our plan do not get those discounted rates. Yeah, so I don't know why they put that on there. It used to be years ago that that was the case.
But we don't even have Medicare in our plans, do we?
I'd have to look at the census again. I mean, we have had people of Medicare age on our plans, but they don't get those rates.
Would that be a Medicare Advantage? What is that?
It doesn't apply.
It doesn't apply?
Blue Cross
Oh,
shouldn't
okay.
be putting it on there anymore.
It doesn't even apply?
No.
Okay.
Before 2014, groups got discounted rates like that if somebody was on Medicare. However, Medicare is never primary for your group because your group's over 20 lives. So that's the rule behind it. If your group was under 20 lives, and then Medicare would be the first to process the claims, and Blue Cross would be the second, and then those rates would apply, okay? They shouldn't put it on groups that are 20 or more because it just confuses everyone.
Is there anything else in this chart that doesn't apply?
No.
Are there other questions?
So we're looking at the 3rd column, the yellow. Is that what we're looking at?
The first 2 columns are your current plans, and the last one is the alternate that is the closest I can get to a grandfathered plan if you didn't approve the current 2 plans.
So that would be a grandfather plan?
Correct. So, yes, correct. Right, so if you let the grandfather plan go, okay, Blue Cross changes plans every year, so there's no telling, this is the closest I can get today and this year, but they can change that to 500 to be the lowest deductible, you know what I mean? And you know, 2,500 out of pocket. Anything can happen going forward, so I think the reason why the groups held on to the plan so long is to, you know, avoid the unknown. And we've been able to keep the renewals really low, so.
So Catherine, what is the difference between the 4th page and the 5th page? What is the difference of what I need to look at?
Hold on 1 second. There's 2 pages that almost look identical, except one says 4.3% and one says 7.43%. So the 7.43% was the first renewal that I received from Blue Cross Blue Shield. And then I went back to them and asked for rate relief and gave them a few things that I know were risk removed on the group. And then they came back to me with the lowered one. So the rates are not the same on those 2 pages because they lowered them.
So this page of number 5 no longer applies, is that right?
Right. I just wanted to show you the original. Yeah, you can X that. We're at the 4.3%. Although in the spreadsheet it comes out to 4.24 because the enrollment always isn't exactly the same as the
So would you talk about the total monthly health cost to the township? What is that going to be, total monthly?
So what the township pays and what the employees pay?
What the township
I don't have it broken down that way, I can get it for you. I don't have it broken down that way. So the township pays 95% for all other employees and pays 90% towards elected officials. And then I think you do something else too, but that's what's recorded with Blue Cross, the 95 and the 90.
So what is this total monthly health cost I see in the final column on the fourth page?
That's based on the enrollment at the time when they process the renewal. That's what that is. So if you look at total monthly health costs, that's total. That is the total premium monthly when they created this renewal. That's who was enrolled. So you see how there's a 1 under employee. So the very first line says 999888 and it says 1. There's 1 person enrolled that's employee only in the HMO. Then there's 1 employee child. So they take that all the way over to the total monthly cost being $2,706.94 for the current plan. And then if you look down in the next square right underneath it, it's going to $2893.41 on the reduced rate relief renewal. And so the HSA, the middle plan, we've never even had anybody in that. So I didn't even put that on the spreadsheet. And then the last plan is the grandfather plan. So right now the total monthly cost is $64,806.40 with the people that were current enrolled in that, and it's going to $67,523.16 at renewal.
That's middle column. Page 5, middle column, 67.
Yeah.
Page 5 is the one where we crossed off, right?
That figure she just gave us from the middle column.
Yeah, but they might not be exact in my spread, because when I do my spread, I do it off of what I see enrolled right now today, okay? When they did the renewal, it was 3 months ago, so we could have had difference in, you know what I'm saying, like enrollment. So it might not be exact, but my numbers are correct in the spread.
So the renewal health monthly rates will be $70,416. Is that right?
So they will be,
Times 0.95% would be the township cost. Is that right?
yeah, so it's gonna be $859,931.88 divided by 12.
So Kim pointed out to me that that would be exactly right, because the elected officials pay a higher percent.
Yeah, right.
But
Yeah, they pay 10%. Yeah,
What,
actually,
well,
30, yeah, 30.
35.
Well, yeah, what we saw.
Right.
10%.
10% and extra 25%.
Right. 35%.
Okay, but leaving aside the elected officials, it would be 95%.
of 859,931.88.
Pardon?
So the number that is a 4.24% increase, that number annually is 859,931.88. It's in red at the bottom. So divided by 12, that would be your monthly.
Oh, that's the next page. Okay, we're still on the other.
Page 5 at the bottom,
Okay.
combined current.
Yeah, combined current. You have your combined current, which is 824,952, and then you have your combined renewal premium, which is 859,931.88.
Page 5.
So I see in red the MetLife, which is the insurance, in red, but I don't see other figures in red.
Take a look at page 5 at the bottom, the red numbers at the bottom.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I think you're looking at the wrong spread, though.
Yeah.
The MetLife spread. I have two of these in mine, so mine is.
Yeah, that's the page.
Which one are you looking at now?
So it's the third page. It's the third page. Yeah, the third page,
Third
right?
page, right.
Yeah, 859,931.88, right, Karen?
Um,
Catherine? Sorry.
Yes. That is correct.
This is page 5 for me.
It's on the third page for us.
Okay, we got different page orders apparently, to make it even more confusing. Okay, it's all right. Confusion is fun sometimes. Now we're figuring it out. My page 5 is not the same.
All right, there's a lot to sort of understand. Next year, Catherine, could we have these ahead of time, you know, and could you put page numbers on them too? Because it's a lot for us to look at right where we're sitting here and
Okay.
some of it.
No problem.
Okay, and even if you were to do a PowerPoint, then we'd look the same thing too, at the same time. All right.
Can I ask something?
Yes, yes.
Is it possible that you can put this up like on a screen or whiteboard and point it out because we're like going back from page to page sometime, or? would it be-
I mean, yeah, I can, if you have one here, yeah, I can do that.
That would make it better for all you to see, and it would be, I'm not sure what page 3 and page 4 is anymore. I don't know if you're here.
Any other questions? Okay, all right. Any other questions or comments from the board members? Are you ready to vote now? Would someone like to make a motion to approve the Blue Cross Blue Shield renewal rates for 2023-24?
So moved.
Okay, all right. Any further discussion or questions or concerns?
I think that the only thing I would point out is a 4.3 overall increase in this day and age and market is pretty darn good,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
I know you look at the numbers, it doesn't feel that way, but
Especially with the lack of competition.
It came down
Right, Pete?
3%.
There's no competition, so they still were
And
reasonable with us.
we've been able to keep it around that 4 mark for a few years now.
Yeah.
So, and that is kind of a challenge, because if you look at the renewal, you're going to see active claims of 72,741, still active 90,506, still active 92,074, and still active 100,308. So I go back and beat them up right away.
Now, what page is that?
It's on both of your renewal. Your renewal.
It's on the page
From the
two.
beginning, it's on page. It's on both of them. It's listed at the bottom. Yeah.
They don't like claims, because then they have to pay me. Wow. Right?
Yeah.
At the end of the contract.
I know, right? They only get 800, almost 900,000, right?
Right.
How dare
They're
them?
upset when they get some claims, maybe we have to honor our contract.
Yeah.
Well, we have a motion on the table.
We do have a motion on the table.
Did somebody second it?
Yes. So then again, I want to give anyone an opportunity to ask any questions that they might have before we have a vote.
Susan might have a question or something.
You have a question, another question, or?
Nope.
Are you tabling?
No, we have a motion.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, please do a roll call.
Supervisor Bennett?
Yes?
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Horvath?
Yes.
Trustee Maher?
Yes.
Trustee Malik?
Yes.
Okay, can I have just a few more minutes? There was just a couple other things. So the dental, we did the marketing, it's in the packet as well. I think that's what you were looking at when you said something in MetLife in red. We had tried MetLife before and it didn't work out so well. So we had to leave MetLife and go to Principal. And so we've been with Principal. Principal, they gave us, they took the renewal rates down as well. They took it down to 3.5% on the voluntary life and 15% instead of 30% on the employer paid life. They went down to, no, I'm sorry, the dental, they took down to 3.5%.
Okay, all right, Catherine, would you tell us what page you are on, what column you're in?
So on your recap page in the beginning, I kind of outlined
So
everything
you're
that I'm
back to the second
going to
page, okay.
And so the dental, they took that down from their original increase, they took it down to 3.5. On the voluntary life that the employees pay for, if they want extra life, they took that down from 30 to 15%, and on the employer paid life, they took that down from 8% to 5%. So they did give us rate relief to keep the group with principal, which the principal, that's this page here, the dental spread, that's what you were looking at, you saw MetLife in red. It's because MetLife is really the only one offering a savings, but that didn't work out for the group. The group was very unhappy with MetLife. Everyone else that we market everybody in the industry that writes group dental, and they're all higher. And then VSP is our current vision provider, and they gave us, last year I asked them for a 4-year rate guarantee, and they gave it to us. So we're good on that. There's no changes on plan design or rates for the vision that the employees pay for at 100%. No changes on that until like 2026. And the good thing about Principal Life too, and we'll remind the employees about this at open enrollment, is they're allowed to add $20,000 to their voluntary life with no statement of health at all given, even if they declined in the beginning. And most life carriers don't do that. If you didn't elect in the beginning, then you have to always fill out an application and submit it to get approved. But Principal, every open enrollment, they let the spouses add 10K, and they let the employees add 20K if they want to, with no questions asked. So that's kind of nice too. If everybody's okay with everything the way it's presented moving forward, if we could, if everything's approved, I would like to get an open enrollment meeting scheduled. So obviously I can do that with the team for dates that would work with everyone for May, because it's always, we used to always do it in May, and it always worked out better to do it in May because we had more time to make sure everybody was set for July 1st.
So in case, Catherine, why is this figure in red at the bottom under MetLife? What's the reason for that?
So, like I mentioned, the MetLife is in red because of the savings over current. So it's the only carrier that came in as a savings. Annually, it would save $1,625 to go to MetLife. Their rates on employee only are $32.22 instead of $35.80. $62.69 for employee spouse instead of $69.65, $68.58 on employee child instead of $76.20, and the rates are $105.80 instead of $117 at renewal with principal. So that is the only carrier that showed any savings in the marketplace.
Okay, so next year if you could put up your life insurance, because when we're looking at this, it's not even, it doesn't even jump out at me what type of insurance we're looking at, right? This is all life insurance on this page, right?
No.
It says dental.
No, you're looking at dental on the next page, aren't you?
No, it says dental. Right?
Okay, see?
This is period.
Where does it say? Oh, down here, okay, all right.
At the top too, it says dental.
Where's our life insurance? Where's that at?
So the life insurance, we don't have the life insurance on here. We had declined to quotes on the life insurance.
All right.
So there's really, Principal is really the only one to go with on the life.
Okay.
And the last page is the vision.
All right, does anyone have any questions about this page, the dental page?
They reduced their rate, right? That's my question. They reduced their rate.
They took the original rate increases across all the lines down, yes.
Okay. Page 2 of my, okay.
All right, and any questions from anyone over here regarding dental rates? Okay, all right. Did you want to now talk about the vision ones?
Well, yeah, we did go over that. The vision is not changed in rates or benefits at all. And and there's no better marketing out there, even if we went, we're already with VSP, so we have a rate lock of 4 years. If we were to go with Equitable, which is VSP network, it would be almost 40% more. Going with Equitable carrier, the same network we have. And so we're good till 2026 on the vision with VSP, with no change to plan or rates. And that one is something that the employees pay 100% for. And the dental township pays 50%.
Okay. Any questions regarding vision? Any questions? No? Okay. Do I have a motion then to approve the dental and vision rates for 2023 to 2024?
So moved. Second.
Okay. Last opportunity to ask any questions? All right, maybe roll call then.
Supervisor Diamond?
Yes.
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Horvath?
Yes.
Trustee Matter?
Yes.
Trustee Malik?
Yes.
Okay, all right. I think we're done now, are we?
Okay, thank you. So in the future, if you'd like a PowerPoint, if you want to do that, that's fine. I mean, I
think that might
have
help,
the ability
because
to
we're
hook
looking at
up.
different pages at different
Yeah.
times.
Yeah, if you, yeah.
That'd be great, thanks.
If you guys have a screen or something that I can
Oh,
hook the
yes.
laptop up, we can certainly
yes.
do that. It's not a problem, and I'll look at
Okay.
the pages so we don't have any confusion. It seems like there were a couple that might have been in a different order. Sorry about that.
It's a
Okay.
vision and dental separately. Because that's kind of lumped in here at the end. Okay.
All right. Yeah, and if we could get it ahead of time too, because
Okay,
we're just trying to
sure.
look at a lot, but right at the same time. Okay.
I'm making notes, so we'll make
All
sure
right.
to do that. Sorry about that. And then I do, Karen, just have the paperwork for the grandfather. All you gotta do
All right,
is
you
sign
can
it.
leave it right here. It's going to be fine. Thank you. All right, let's move on to our next item.
Thank you. Thank you. That's my shoe.
Our next presentation is by Diane Elkins. I think I said your name, Diane. How are you? Municipal electric aggregation. She has a presentation for us.
I'm just waiting for everybody to get the,
Okay. That wasn't in the time to make a handout. We're getting it now. We're getting it now.
no, I get it.
Thank you. Electrical services.
Good evening, thanks for having me today. Some of you recognize me, I was here before, I handled your community solar program. And there was some participation from the community to save that 20%, which is great. What I'm talking about today, and really today I'm just here to introduce this program, because when I talked to Karen about municipal aggregation, she let me know that the board that we have now really wasn't mostly involved when it was municipal aggregation back in 2018, which was the last time Maine Township aggregated. And we're going to, this here today is just to introduce the program, educate you a little bit. It's not to vote on a rate or anything like that. It's more to educate you on it, to talk about once we have rates, if the board is interested in hearing them. So we're going to talk about the aggregation and what it means, and then I'll take questions and we'll kind of go from there. So if we take a look at the PowerPoint printout, we're just kind of talking about the program overview. The two terms we'd be talking about are either 12 or 24 months. The residents can save money on their ComEd bill. There's no fee for the program. Residents can opt out of the program anytime with no fee. And ComEd continues to bill the customers, take care of power, delivery, and servicing. So let's go on to the next page. And then what is a municipal aggregation program? So I'm not going to read the whole paragraph, but back in 2009, Governor Quinn allowed municipalities to choose if they wanted to allow what they call alternative retail electric suppliers to bring rates to residents that would be less than a ComEd rate to compare. When this happened back in 2009, There was actually a freeze on ComEd rates, so it took Illinois a little time to begin to aggregate. But once they did, back in those days, because I was involved, the rates were crazy lower. I mean, by 8 cents, 10 cents. I mean, you know, it was an onslaught of municipalities coming into the program. There was a huge savings. Over time, that gradually changed. Fast forward on to like 2019, 2020, we started to see the rates be the same or even higher than ComEd's. So we'll talk about that in a minute, but let's keep going. Go to the next page. How does an aggregation program work? Maine Township would sign an agreement with an alternative electricity supplier. So you have a plan of governance. I actually couldn't find it online, but I know you got it. That allows for the board to vote on behalf of the residents for this program if they so chose. And that would be between Maine Township and the alternative electricity supplier you would choose. The supplier provides the power to the residents at a reduced rate. ComEd continues to provide the billing and so forth. Residents can leave the program at any time without termination fees. Okay, let's keep going. So again, when was Maine Township's last aggregation? It was from 2018 to 2020. And after that, many communities haven't aggregated in the last 3 years. And that's because the rates, there was such a huge capacity increase that the rates that were available from alternative suppliers were higher or the same as ComEd. As a matter of fact, the program that became somewhat popular in the last couple of years was a program that only 2 suppliers offered, now only 1 offers it, which was a matched pricing plan with ComEd. So they matched the same rate as ComEd, so the residents weren't saving any money. It was a green program, but they offered a civic contribution to the municipality. So that's the plan that became really popular for the last 2 years, because otherwise there was no control from, you know, there was fraudulent programs out there, there were things that were happening, plus the municipalities needed the civic contribution too to kind of help them through. But now the pricing has begun to be competitive again. We are now seeing a savings above ComEd where it might make sense to look at alternative electricity supply. So let's keep going to the next page. So why should you participate in the program? Residents can save money. There's no downside for the residents. They can opt out anytime. It's a rate that's guaranteed for the contract term, and it protects the residents from participating in fraudulent programs or scams. The reason I put that in there is whenever these things start to happen and prices start to come down from alternative suppliers, you see a lot of fraudulent scams out there. You see door knocking, you see people making promises, they go to people's homes, they ask for their ComEd bills, sometimes someone will hand it to them, and before you know it, they're put in a program and they're paying twice as much as ComEd rates. It's really frightening. It happens. When a municipality controls that by being in an aggregation, then when I've been involved in aggregations, if something like that happens, we handle that immediately. Those fraudulent claims, I mean, we will go straight to Commerce Commission, whatever we need to do to put that to bed. Because it's dangerous. The scams are out there. As soon as something happens that's good for people, where they can save money again, the scammers come right under and they're ready to hurt people. So it's a protection for them. Let's go to the next page. And these are just some FAQs. You know, why would a municipality pursue aggregation? They want to help the residents save money. And sometimes there's a higher percentage of greed power. What is an opt-out aggregation program? If your community approves an opt-out, which is what this would be, then a resident doesn't have to take action unless they want to opt out. And the chosen supplier sends out notices, so all the residents know exactly what they need to do if they wanted to opt out. Go to the next page. What does the billing look like? In most cases, they receive 1 bill, and that's how it is here. It would be on their ComEd bill. There would be no change to their delivery or service. They would just see under their supply portion, instead of the name ComEd, they would see whatever the supplier is that you chose and the rate they're paying. And how long does the aggregation last? It's negotiated in the bidding process. Usually we recommend 12 or 24 months just because if you go out 36 months, it's a higher risk of change. Who do I call if my power goes out? You continue to call your local utility, which in this case is ComEd. No change in service. Go to the next page. So how should we proceed? You let me know if you're interested in the program, and then we would do a proposal later. And the reason that I did print out some current rates for today, just so that you could see what's happening in the market. The ComEd price to compare right now is 9.665 cents. So if you look at your second page, which is today's current pricing, these are 3 of the participating suppliers that are in our area now. So right now, it's a significant savings. It's 2 cents lower than the price to compare. But I
Sorry, was
caution,
that number 9.?
0.09665. So it's 9.665 cents.
Comment.
But that's a ComEd price to compare. What I caution you on that right now is, come end of April to the beginning to middle of May, we're not sure exactly when, the ComEd new price to compare, the tariff pricing, is going to come out. We are anticipating it to be lower than the ComEd price to compare now. We're anticipating it dropping. So I would not want you to even consider looking at pricing until we find out what the price to compare is and see what kind of competition the suppliers are going to offer at that point. Because suppliers and ComEd are all affected by capacity. And that's the biggest change that's going on with the tariff right now. So what we would assume is that the suppliers will also be able to drop below ComEd price to compare so that it would still make sense to look at it. However, we've seen it go the other way. We've seen it happen where the suppliers can't. That's when they came up with this match pricing program, where it's not lower than ComEd, it's higher. So we don't know exactly what's going to happen once this price comes out, but at that point, if the board is interested in the program at all, if you're interested in hearing what the pricing might be, at that point, I would tell Karen the pricing is out, here's where it's at, there's some savings, and I could come back and present it to you on a more formal basis and say, okay, this is the pricing, you know, we have 24 hours to make a decision, that kind of thing. That's kind of how it goes at that point because it changes every day. The price changes every day. So that's kind of all I have to say to introduce the program. Are there any questions about how it works or what it would mean?
I remember you being back here about, I don't know, was it maybe 3 years ago or something? Maybe. And I think that the board agreed to move forward. And I thought your company was supposed to send out postcards or something to the...
2 different programs. What you're referring to is a community solar program, and it was approved by the board, and it did go into place, and there were mailers sent out.
I don't think it went to everybody, because I wanted to
I
participate,
never got
I never got anything. I didn't get anything.
Only unincorporated Maine Township.
It was only on...
I thought it was supposed to be for everybody.
It was supposed to go out to everybody. So,
Ours would fall under Sioux City, yeah.
And I didn't think that mattered when I addressed
yeah, this is
that.
the first time hearing about this.
Yeah, when I addressed that, you said it was in township.
Yeah.
You said I lived in
That was the vote, yeah.
corporate displays. And
Yeah.
I never saw it. And then my second thing is this below the ComEd rate? Is this what the sheet is? Is that what that is?
This sheet right here, now remember, we're talking about 2 different programs, right? The community solar program was just a 20% discount off of the ComEd rate. Whatever the ComEd rate is, it's a savings of 20%, no matter what. The program I'm talking about here is a municipal aggregation program. So these rates that are on this sheet are today's rates. If we knew that the ComEd rate to compare, so the price to compare was today's rate, and it's going to be like that for the next year, I'd say grab these rates because they're 2 cents lower. But the new rate is coming out in the next
Are you
couple of
talking
weeks.
about the rate that ComEd is trying to propose with the 17%?
Correct, it's the new tariff, yep. That they have to propose to the ICC, it has to get approved, and that happens in the next couple of weeks. That's when we'll know the new price to compare.
How long will that price last?
So that goes from June to October. There's a summer rate, and then October to May is what they consider the winter rate. So it's two separate rates.
But they'll both come out at the same time?
Yeah, we'll see the summer rate now, but we get a very good idea what the winter rate is gonna be.
Each year, ComEd can change those two numbers, right?
Well, they can't change it, they can propose it,
Well, they can-
and then the ICC has to approve it. Yep.
12 months
So
later.
why wouldn't I take the 20% discount with the solar?
You
For
should.
this?
I have to find out where those mailers went.
Can't sign up.
It doesn't matter.
That's why.
It would be helpful for me, for you, whoever wanted to participate and didn't get any information, if you could write me down your name and address, and I'm gonna talk to the companies and make sure that we find out about them, because I know the farms are pretty full now, because the newest farms that they're doing now are for low to moderate income. It's a different type of farm. So, but I did not know that those did not go out to everybody. This is the first I'm hearing of this.
Send me your address, I'll forward it to
So do you have your
Diane.
information here so we can email you?
I do.
That's your Diane and
Yep.
commercial.
Yep.
Or you can send it to me and I'll forward it if you want.
Yeah, either way to go or just do it directly to say.
Sure, go ahead.
Whatever is easiest for you. And I will find out about it.
And can you be in both programs?
Yes. There's no restriction. Yes, there's no restriction
But
to.
how would that work?
So what would actually happen is, you're still gonna get the 20% off of the ComEd rate, so it still continues to be a reduction. There's no, it doesn't matter how many ways you save money. That's one of the things that the Climate and Equitable Jobs Act passed in 2021, that residents can participate in more than one type of green program, more than one type of savings program. You can't be restricted from one to the other. The only thing you have a restriction is you can't participate in the same program twice, right? You can't have solar panels on your house and participate in a solar farm. You can't do both. But you can be in an aggregation program, you can be in a solar program, and a green program, that they can't restrict you.
Now, would this also apply for all of Maine Township?
No, in this case, it would be just your unincorporated.
This is an opt-out.
This is opt-out, right, so municipality has to do they'd have to do their own.
And one more thing, do you have any numbers from the last time that you were here, how many people opted into the program? Do you have numbers from the
Yeah,
township?
I don't have an exact number, but I will find it out and I'll send it to Karen.
And are you asking how many people opted into the solar program? Or we did the aggregation years ago before.
You're talking about aggregation or solar?
Either one, I don't know. Either one.
The aggregation I wasn't involved in 2018, so that would be something that you might have on record.
And that's an
But the
opt-out,
solar
so
program I
it'd
can
be
find
the
out.
number of people that opted out, not opted in.
Right,
Yeah.
under this program, if we sign the contract, everyone is automatically in, and then they can opt out, correct?
Yeah.
Whereas
It's
the
just
solar
about-
program, when that was proposed, it wasn't clear.
It's a subscription.
How people are gonna join, right? My question was, how are people gonna know to sign up? Right? That solar was unclear, how the purchase measures opt in or opt out, right?
We're not mandating the solar or controlling that on behalf of residents. Where the aggregation is a program that we set this rate, do this program, and then residents can opt out if they don't want to.
That's what you meant by that distinction.
Right, and I just want to clarify one thing. You said everybody is opted in unless they opt out, unless they're already in their own program. If they've enrolled in their own type of discount program, then they won't even receive a letter telling them that they can opt out. Right, that's why when we get the ComEd reports that, Karen sent, from ComEd, that tells the supplier everything that they need to know, who's in what program, how many people get notified.
And if we approve this, then what does the resident get notifying them that they're in this program now, or they just see it on their bill, or?
No, they'll get a letter.
Okay. Have you ever had residents upset that they were put into a program, even if they're saving money? Has anyone been like, why am I signed up?
On
for this?
occasion, you'll get a call, they're saying, how did you do this to me? You have no right. The fact of the matter is that you do have a right. It's been voted in on a referendum. But we have, we can handle that for you if you get those kind of complaints. And remember, if I get a complaint like that and I'm handling it, which I will step in personally so that the township doesn't have to deal with it, I explain to the resident how it happened, that it does have a right, that they're doing it to help you, but that you always have the right to opt out. Here's the phone number, here's the, email, any way you want to opt out. We never push anybody to stay in it. If you want to opt out, you have every right to do so.
With this program and in the Maine Township, and you have the example, let's say, comment is daily, let's say $100, and with this program, maybe they're saving like daily, maybe $75, $80.
It just depends on every program is different. Right now.
I'm talking about this program.
No, because right now, these programs are, most of them have been ComEd matching programs. The new aggregation programs that are actually reducing the rates are just coming back now. So we don't have statistics. I'm not sure what you're asking.
No, okay, because you say comment is, let's say, is $100 bill. If they change to this program and let's say board approve it, which one I can say, without our residents' knowledge, and do they receiving the bill $80 or $90? They're going to receive after 3 months $120 bill.
Well, this is how you have to figure it out. If the ComEd bill, and by the way, it's not without your residents' knowledge. You, as a board, vote on behalf of your residents.
I don't think so I have a right to ask my resident to change this program. Because I am the resident, I don't give a permission to the board to change my program.
Well, you did when they voted in the referendum. But you don't, as a board member, don't have to approve it, of course. I'm not telling you what to do. But in answer to your other question, if your ComEd bill is $100, and your rate is 9.665, right? Then you have to take what the $100, what it would be if your rate was 0.0755, and that would be the savings for the resident.
And it's not going to be changed 12 months or 24 months, whatever the program is? You can say 112 months.
It's a fixed rate for the term.
And then that term is here?
It can be 12 or 24 months. Yeah, even sometimes they do 18 months. It just depends on what the best rate is going to be. And honestly, I have no idea what's going to happen. Once this new ComEd rate, price to compare comes out, and we see what how the suppliers are going to compete. They're getting ready. I mean, they know what's going on. They're watching the tariff. They're doing everything. But if it's not enough to make sense for your residents, then it wouldn't make sense to do the program.
Of these three providers, do you guys have any preference or not?
No.
No.
My favorite provider is the one that gives you the best rate. I have no allegiance to any provider at all.
Is there a reason the 12-month rate is cheaper than the 24-month rate?
Yeah.
Usually you get
That's a good
better
question.
deal.
Yeah, that's in the old days in aggregations, you saw those rates come down the longer the term. Well, the reason that we're seeing that trajectory going up is that they're assuming that pricing, the way they're looking at the trends, the longer out it goes, they're seeing prices go up again. That's why, you're seeing some municipalities that are looking at these aggregations, even if they're higher than price to compare, believe it or not, because they feel like they're protecting their residents against what could happen in a year. It's a tough decision. It's not easy. That's why when I talked about when it started in 2000, really it started in 2011, when we started to see ComEd, municipal aggregations. It was a no-brainer. Yeah, your residents were saving 10 cents a kilowatt hour, right? We couldn't even, the phones didn't stop ringing. It's not like that anymore, it's closer. And so there's different kinds of decisions to make.
I I do have a little concern that our residents might be sort of confused, because we just did the solar program about a year ago. Or so.
Yeah. I don't think I worry too much about that. I think that it kind of maybe came and went already for people. I don't think we haven't been getting a lot of calls or concerns like that. And the letters that go out from municipal aggregation are very clear as what it is. And so, that's how it, and you can put it on your website if you want to, and people can look at it. There's ways of handling it, but always they're gonna get a letter.
Okay. All right, so, again, I understand your request was to come here and present this information.
Right.
But you're not really asking for any vote right now, but rather...
No, just, I'm more curious.
It comes out in, I think you said it's going to come out in a couple of weeks.
It should be the next few weeks, that's what we're expecting. It's never the same, so we're expecting it anytime the beginning to the middle of May, that we would have a better idea. So the only thing I really would like to know from the board, and I don't know if you want to do it as a vote or how you want to handle it, is just is there an interest in looking at this type of a program if in fact there would be a savings for residents?
You can just indicate, informally. I don't think we're really taking a vote on this.
Okay.
Sure, yeah. I mean, I don't think it hurts to get the information.
Right.
Okay.
What's the name of are you a broker?
Yes, I am. We're a commercial energy broker, by commercial energy.
Okay, that's the name of the company that brokers and gets the...
Yeah, that's all.
And I
Okay,
think
so-
some people would like answers as to why they didn't find out about the solar too.
Yeah, I have to find out where those mailers did not go. Everyone that's on the board that didn't receive it is in an incorporated part of Maine Township. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah.
I gotta find out about that and see what we can do if there's space and how we can handle it. That would be my first call in the morning, because I'm really upset about that. I had no knowledge of it at all.
Okay.
Okay.
And so thank you so much for your time. I'll keep you posted. Thank you. Have a good night.
Okay, the next matter on our agenda is discussion and vote on creation of a 501c3 entity for our food pantry. So just in terms of giving you a little background on this, for probably nearly 2 years, at least a year and a half, I have been investigating, and I think Nick has also sent some emails to the Greater Chicago Food Depository and made phone calls trying to partner with them. And the reason we want to partner with them is that we can get food, large quantity of food at free or very low cost. It was not always entirely clear to me, but I think it's pretty much free. Greater Chicago Food Depository, of course, serves all of Cook County. You may have heard of the Northern Illinois Food Depository. They serve Lake County. So we're in Cook County's area, and if we're going to use any depository at all, then we have to use the Greater Chicago Food Depository. And they collect food from a lot of different locations. They get it from producers, they get it from restaurants, they get it from all over. So they have a huge amount of food to distribute. But you have to be partners with them, and they have a lot of rules that you have to follow. We finally were able to get them to come out and talk to us here and tour our food pantry. And I think they were impressed with the food pantry and everything we're doing here. And we already are complying with all of their rules except for one. And that is they have a rule that the pantry, the application has to be made by a 501c3. And I asked repeatedly why a 501c3 has to do this, since we as a government body are already tax exempt and we've been running this pantry for 40 years. But I have not been able to get any answer to that question. They nonetheless insist that we must have a 501c3 entity in order to partner with them. So I have contacted our law firm about doing this, and they have prepared a letter discussing all the steps that we would need to go through and giving me some ballpark information as to what the costs were. Nick, do you want to come up to the microphone? And I I want to talk to the board about this, to let you know that this is where we are and what's happening now. And the 501(c) would need its own directors. You need at least 3. Our attorneys have counseled that it probably should be 3 or more board members, because that would bring open meeting act concerns to the floor, and that would be a possible problem. So we would have to choose directors for the food pantry. And the creation of a 501(c)(3, there are a lot of fees that have to be paid out to different state agencies, not large fees, but they are recurring every year fees, and our attorneys to create it. And the cost I've estimated is between $5,000 and $10,000 to do that.
A year?
No, just initially. The repeated costs every year are relatively, minimal. I mean, they're hundreds of dollars as opposed to that amount. So I've asked Nick to talk about, how long would it take us to recoup that kind of money? If you can discuss that, Nick.
Yeah, I just wanted to go over a few things just with what's going on in the food pantry, because when we started with 120 Maine Township families and residents. We are now up to 350 Maine Township residents or families. That is roughly about 700 individuals when it comes to those families.
Nick, do you want to say when that's starting out?
That started last year. So whenever I took over the food pantry, so we would say this time limit is from 22 to 23. And that's 700 individuals on a bi-weekly basis. So that's a 200% increase in 1 year. We've changed our application process, which goes along with what the Greater Chicago Food Depository wants, which is we don't check anybody's financials. It isn't cookie cutter where everybody just has, they might make enough money, but there's definitely things that could be going on in their family in different situations. Just from April 1st to April 24th this month, I've had 40 new applications put into the food pantry. If we take that average for monthly applications, that would be about 480 new clients in 1 year. And on top of the pre-existing 350, that would put us at 830 clients, which would be another 137% increase. So what we're basically doing is I'm currently spending roughly about $2,000 to $3,000 a month on essential items in the pantry, and those items include perishables like milk, eggs, oil, sugar, flour, stuff like that, every basic household items. And that's not even including some of the other items that they may want just in the pantry. We do get a lot of donations and a lot of food drives that we got put together. And previously, when we had food drives, it would last till probably July. They're going in like a month alone. So the money that we're spending, if we take a $3,000 budget month for the 12 months for a year, that's about $36,000. And at this point, with how many clients, and that's using the numbers that I just stated, where we're at with 350 clients. More clients just means bigger monthly budgets and more yearly expenditures. So if we file the 501(c)(3), we'll begin a partnership with the Greater Chicago Food Depository, which would open the doors to a lot of new things that we can do for our clients at Maine Township. The estimated cost of filing 501(c)(3) could be anywhere to $1,000 to $10,000. During our meeting on Monday, Liz Coy was mentioned that there's a possibility that somebody could do pro bono if we maybe look out and maybe ask somebody if they were willing to help, for a good cause as well. So what would happen would be, as soon as we start this partnership, I would have to take a few classes, sanitizing classes, a bunch of other classes that they want to teach how to use the portal, how to use their application process, and it would be me and somebody else. They do want somebody else to also learn the new process of how to do all these things. And then we would order.
Why don't you talk about what Greater Chicago Food Depository would actually do for us?
Oh, okay. So what they would do for us is we would order food through their portal. They're a big food agency that gets federal donations and donations through other big companies. And what they would do is we would order food through their portal. They would bring food on Monday morning and they would drop it off They have actually, and I've asked them, they have forklifts on the truck, they would just drop off the pallets right in front of the food, or right in front of our garage doors. So what that would look like would be getting some of my volunteers on Monday morning, open up the garage bays, bringing in the pallets into the garage, taking the perishables like milk, eggs, meat, cheese, we get with that and bring that down to the basement. The other canned food, stuff like that, we will get to it that day on Monday, once we get everything down there in the basement. Then we would just basically do business as usual. We would have to put everything away, and then we would have to start using their portal as into having them, how their application process is. So I would have to redo the entire applications from what we used to do, but we would track them in a more professional way where I would be sending this information to the Chicago Food Depository. They gauge on how much food we are receiving, and then they also work out, because when we're ordering, we're going to start figuring out how much exactly we need. Sometimes we might order too much, and they track that. They'll help me figure out exactly, like, this is a good amount of food that we need to bring in that's going to help serve our community. And like I said, there's going to be a lot more growth, because I know with link cards that have been, the money has been cut, so there's been a lot of people who have given less money on their link cards now, so they're still looking for help. And then after we, sign them up and they get into our system or into their system, they get provided a Greater Chicago Food Deposit card. So it almost looks like a gift card. They're going to give us all the computers and stuff to do that, and we'll scan them in. All their information will pop up. I'm able to track when was their last visit, how much food they got, a lot of the little details like that. So I'll be able to not have to use our system, where I would just be able to better track and understand how many times people visit. It would help us in a big way where we're not telling people, because since we're around complete monetary donations, where it's like, hey, you can only take 2, this would be a great way. So bigger families of 8, they're going to be able to feed their family. We don't have to be as restrictive or strict with what we're doing. I believe the food that they do bring us will be free, and if not, it's pennies on the dollars. We would be saving an unbelievable amount of money, and this is a great way for you guys as a board to leave like just a stamp for future generations, for people who need food and people who have food insecurities for their family and their children. So I really been fighting for this. This seems like a no-brainer to me. There's no downside to this. We don't have to put together a board. We don't lose any of our monetary donations. We get to keep all those, and all we would have to do is just file the 501c3. The whole township doesn't have to become one. It could just be the food pantry. So I can't see why there'd be any downside, but basically this would just be a great opportunity that we can help anybody who walks through those doors. And we're not losing money, and we can use that money to even do maybe more shelves, just more refrigerators, anything that we can do to whatever, purchase other nice things for our clients and everybody in the community. So that's the scoop.
So Nick, did you say you don't have to create a board?
Yeah, there is no board.
We actually do have to create a board. We do actually have to have a board.
Do we? Because whenever we spoke with Amy, she said there's no.
They made, sorry.
Any not-for-profit's going to have a board of directors, so they're not going to have to meet generally the same way this board will, but there's going to have to be a governing board of the actual entity itself.
Is it a corporate entity, Kurt, or the 501c3 is a internal?
501c is an IRS.
IRS sanction.
Yeah, so we would create a not-for-profit corporation, in Illinois not-for-profit.
Through the Secretary of State, but it's got this IRS code status.
We would apply for that and
Is that
take
right?
that designation as a not-for-profit organization. But the Illinois designation is a not-for-profit corporation that would seek 501c3
status for the tax.
And if that's the case, I know the ladies from who do the crop walk, a lot of my volunteers would love to be part of that. So.
How long did it take to start up?
Not too long. I mean, it's really just waiting for these to get filed.
Okay, all right. Does anyone have any questions? Nick, while he's up here.
Who came up with this idea? Is it?
Well,
you and-
it's something
you
that I looked at a long time ago. I asked Nick to look at it a long time ago too, and you did. You emailed them and phoned them, and for a long time, we had trouble getting them to return our phone calls, so it's been well over a year.
This was one of the things that I originally wrote that I wanted to do during when I took over the food pantry.
Sounds like an outstanding idea to me. Good work too.
So, what I'd like is a motion to proceed with the creation of a 501c3 entity. And again, I would like a motion to that effect because there's going to be some expense involved and it is creating a separate entity. So may I have a motion to that effect, please?
Yes, I'll make a motion to that effect to promote the creation of the 501c3 entity as discussed for the food pantry.
Second.
Do we have any other questions or comments?
I think as long as the motion's that we're authorizing us to move forward with that.
Yeah. Yeah, authorizing to move forward with it, to take the necessary steps.
Just to move forward.
All right. Any other questions or comments?
Thanks for your dedication.
Yeah, thank you, Nick.
No, thank you guys for voting for this. It means a lot to me.
We haven't voted yet.
Yeah, oh, whatever. Well, I feel like everybody's on a good page because I do get to see the families out there and I got to advocate for them and I hear them and they talk to me and they're real people that are struggling. So I appreciate that. Thank you guys.
Okay. All right. Roll call.
Supervisor Diamond?
Yes.
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Barbeck?
Yes.
Trustee Maher?
Yes.
Trustee Malik?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right. Let's move on to our next agenda item, discussion and vote on electronic license service agreement. Now, I'm not sure who wants to talk about this, if it'll be you, Pete, or Emma, or you mentioned it a little bit last time.
Yep. Eva, feel free to step on up, and she's the one that's been doing the majority of the research on this, so I'll let her talk.
Okay. So in order to sell the license plate stickers, Maine Township has to use one of the providers which are registered with Secretary of State. The program allows us to issue vehicle renewal stickers directly from their location, from the Secretary of State. And the way it works, the vendor will assist us with the installation, and then also they provide us the training on how to use the program, and it's gonna be free of charge. We will receive a sticker inventory, and then we will have a new renewal. All we have to do is gonna be enter the VIN number, registration ID, or NPN. Also, plate number, expiration date of the sticker currently on the vehicle. Some vendors require to get like 250 stickers. It's a lot to have it. And I don't want to have in my safe and to be responsible for this because it's going to be a lot of around like $40,000. We're not paying for this because the time when we're going to sell it, automatically the vendor will take from our account within 48 hours money from like 150. It depends on the price of the sticker. So I found the local in this place vendor. This is electronic license service, and they just require 25 stickers to get it advance. When we enter all the information, we have to like click, like print the sheet of paper with the sticker, and for this we just purchase a new printer. It's gonna be only for this one. It was like around with the toner, we paid like $350, but I think it's gonna be at one point we're gonna get it like £3 for this because we're gonna charge like $7 convenience fee, which $1.65 will go to the vendor, and other vendors are range from $165 to $265 per sticker. So the one in this place is $165. It was the cheapest one. The reason we chose the $7 per sticker is because we can charge resident up to $9.50, and the currency exchange actually around us, I called, they charge $9.50. And we don't want to do that. It's supposed to be also a little bit less, maybe for our residents. So we come up with the $7, from which the $1.65 we have to give to the vendor. So it will stay for us, it will be like $5.35. So right now, we don't know how many we're gonna sell, but I hope, I think it's gonna be many residents, because even like right now, residents are coming over and they asking for those. Even like seniors from GA, when they got the benefit access letter and they have the free license or like discounted plate license, they wanna purchase this from us, but we cannot do that. So, and we have tonight, we have the agreement that that's it.
Right, so you'll find it in your packet, the electronic license service, LLC Master Services Agreement. And this is what they need us to sign off on to partner with this agreement, this company, to sell these stickers.
Those stickers.
So,
I mean, again, we're generally not doing this to be a big revenue maker for the township, but more another service that we can offer when people are in here, you know, doing other things anyway, or, you know, we can be closer or cheaper than the local currency exchanges. A lot of people do it when you get your emissions test, because they do it there as well. I believe they're up to $10.
And also the company, if there's gonna be some kind of problem or something, if there's gonna be, like you said, the emission test, they have to pass the emission test. It will show me right away on a computer. And we only gonna take, unfortunately, just cash or credit cards, because I contact Hanover Park, and they also libraries. Nobody is taking checks. We even had some checks that they were insufficient funds.
Yeah, people are pretty used to that these days.
Money order is gonna be fine, cashier check, but yeah, not personal checks. This is gonna be too much money that we can lose.
okay. So maybe we can have any questions about the nature of the program or how this is going to work. You know, I just want to compliment everyone who went to this program. We went to this seminar, and Richard was there too, out in Hanover Park. And I think that's where you learned all the details about this program. I mentioned it once before, and we've talked about it, but you got to talk with someone out there who actually does that for
Yes,
Hanover.
and they using actually the company who are required to get 250 stickers at once, and they charging $175 per sticker. It's not, you know, that much difference, but still, we don't want to do it on the beginning 250 because we don't even know how many we're gonna sell at once. So.
Okay, so, yeah, you had a question, Joe?
I just had a comment. Is this something that we might not want to choose to get involved in? I mean, we're helping sell Secretary of State renewal stickers. That's a business we really want to get involved in. Something to make Pete responsible for, make me responsible, work for us. And is it really an interest to the taxpayers, the citizens? Are they really going to appreciate buying their stickers here? Or are they going to not appreciate it, really?
And I think it's one more service that we can offer to our residents. I mean, there was a time in the past where we didn't offer passports, for instance, right? And
People
then
are
you started.
complaining also about the EMV, that it's really like long, you know, nice and everything.
Yes, they're paying for the turn. Okay.
They charge $10, so you get the turn.
Currency exchange $9.50.
Yeah, so if we can do it at a little bit of a discount, and I think the main goal of it is to, again, just bring more awareness to the township, and, you know, people are gonna come in and be doing something anyway, it might be like, oh, by the way, you got my sticker done there as well, so.
Do you see any negatives though, Pete? Any possible negatives? Have you thought that through?
Not necessarily, because I mean, you know, people complain about the convenience charge, you just say, well, we're cheaper than either getting it through the currency exchange or when you're going to get your emissions free.
Purchase the equipment and toner, so it's also cost of this for us too. And also, I called Secretary of State like, and I complain kind of, because we are government unit,
Right.
why we have to pay, use a vendor to pay, 165, whatever, to get those stickers, even the 165. So, but this is how
Well,
it
and I did,
goes.
Jim talked to Katie Dolan-Baumer, the clerk for Hanover Township, which currently offers it, and she says for the most part, people are very pleased that they offer the service.
So actually
No
Hanover
negatives to
Park,
that?
the Hanover Park, they selling like about like 50, 60 stickers a month.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
I think we just need to make sure we advertise it really well, like.
Right, I think that's something we're gonna put in our
Maybe like an
newsletter.
ad in the newsletter.
Yeah, right. I mentioned as soon as we get that entirely up and going, and
I'm waiting for IT to come over to connect the printer.
all right.
Do you have enough staff to handle it? Do you think the extra work?
Yeah. I mean, right now, we don't know yet how it's gonna be because
Right.
we didn't do it yet, so we'll see.
Talk to the people who handle the
And-
permits and things.
And actually, I was told that this is not really like big deal. At the beginning, it's a little bit like, you have to be careful not to,
Right.
make
Once you get used
mistake
to
or
it.
something,
Right.
but it's kind of pretty easy process.
Well, the 360 month, I mean, it's like, we have 2 a day, right, whatever. So
Right.
It's only gonna be swarms of people wanting their stickers.
Appeal to anyone who forgets to.
It is not gonna be crazy with passports like we have. It's gonna a little bit like slow down, so it's not that.
Got to advertise it. That's a good point.
All right, okay, so we have a motion to enter into the electronic license service agreement so that we are able to sell the Secretary of State license plate stickers. We have such a motion?
So moved. Second.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, we have a roll call.
Supervisor Beck?
Yes.
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Horvath?
Yes.
Trustee Maher?
Yes.
Trustee Malik?
Yes.
Thank you, everyone.
All right, okay, that's something that Pete's office will be doing there.
Yep.
Great. Okay, fine. Next item on our agenda here is, relates to the decennial committee. So, we've talked about this in the past. We know the Illinois legislature. Oh, did I miss something? Oh, right, I'm sorry, I skipped over that. Let me back up. The next item is actually discussion and vote on amended facility event space license agreement. And as you may recall, we passed a facility event space license agreement, I don't know, maybe 2 months ago, 6 months ago or so. And now it's coming before you again with some amendments to it. And one amendment is providing for the possibility of licensing the town hall parking lot for use for a private event. And also there's some other recommended changes to a facility event space license agreement that have been recommended by our attorney. Kurt, would you like to just say a couple words about some of the recommendations that you made regarding the license agreement?
Yeah, one of the things that we want to make sure that we're crafting the agreement to say, what's the purpose of these events and trying to not make it a general public forum where we have to allow any event in. So there's some language in there noting that this is a limited forum, it's not to be used for a political fundraiser or something of that nature that would be, essentially we wouldn't want to see that on township property. So that's one of the bigger changes.
Okay, thank you. All right, so I think you've seen it, and there's an extra copy at your place right now. Are there any questions or comments regarding the amended agreement?
Like the language that Kurt's referring to is.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, who is going to fill it out this one? This is for the board member or this is for the resident of Maine Township?
For anyone who wants to rent the parking lot or the boardroom or the space downstairs for a private event.
how about this program which was going on in the parking lot, the garage sale and all that, because this is the part of Maine Township.
Well, that is an event that's run by Maine Township and is open to anyone in the public, and all members of the public are invited to it, advertised and so forth.
So can we amend this one that all the elected official has to fill it out this one?
I'm sorry.
And can you amend this one? Because if, let's say, I feel like that, whenever I have something going on, you come up with some problem that I cannot do it for my community. Because this one previously, when I announced that I have this program on April 29, and you asked me to fill it out this form, and I said there's no rules or policy to fill it out the parking lot. And I have this program like 3 days left, and you come out with this amendment. Just when I feel like that, I don't know, maybe you have some problem with me or you have a problem with my community. I really do not understand why this is going on when I have 3 days left.
As if I'm doing this as an accommodation to you, because if this policy was not amended, it's not possible to rent the parking lot at all.
I'm not renting it.
Please let me finish. The facility agreement, as it has been written, only allows for the rental of the boardroom or the community room. At the last meeting, you said you wanted to rent the parking lot.
I did not say that. I did not say that. I announced here.
You wanted it for free or for what?
I'm not talking about free, because if I am as a board member, if I have to fill it out this, and whatever the program going on in the parking lot, because you are as a supervisor, this is under your supervision going on, even the garage sale.
I'm not, this event you're going to do on Saturday, I don't know anything about it.
So when I have
If
any
you want to do an event on Saturday and you want to rent the parking lot for that purpose, the agreement, we do have an amended agreement here that would let you do that. But without this, we don't, there's no provision for individuals renting the parking lot.
I have not finished yet. Because there's other community events going on, if the Mexican event going on, Polish event going on, they don't rent this place. All those are mainstreamer. I am a member of the board, I am doing this for my community.
But you're not inviting everyone in Maine Township.
I'm not.
Whenever we have events that are planned by our staff, it's open to the public. Anyone who wants to take advantage of it can.
They sell the tickets. I'm not selling the tickets.
Well, but you're also not inviting anyone aside from, I don't know who you're inviting, but.
I'm inviting some are from people from the Maine Township, some are other elected official. I'm inviting the people from the board members, I'm inviting from the mosque people, because this is an event for the Muslim.
I haven't seen any invitations to anyone, so it seems to me that,
this is my event, right?
If it's your event, fine.
So I have a right to invite people, whoever I want. But this is unfair to me. If I have to fill it out this is very unfair to me.
No, but if you're holding a private event and you're inviting.
This is not my private event. I am doing as a board member. I am a member of this Maine Township trustee, and here's my community. I am doing for the Pakistani Indian community. I am not doing the fundraising, I am not selling the ticket. Food will be free. Anybody can join from the board members and they fly here, which one I invited. So previously you asked me to fill it out, I fill it out, but this time is, you are bringing this one and everything. I invited the people, and April 29 is my program. And if board, I can tell you, if the board approve this, I will fill it out. But make sure any program in the parking lot, supervisor has to fill it out. Otherwise I will feel like that you are singling me out.
Really a difference between a public event that's planned by the township, organized by the township staff, and a private event that a particular board member might want to hold and invite certain people to it, but not the general public. That is more of a private event. And
not a private event.
You need to rent the area that you want to use.
This is not, okay, where is say the trustee has to fill it out this form?
Anyone who wants to.
No, it doesn't mention anyone. They didn't say in this form. And I did fill it out last time.
Okay, Kim, you have a question or comment?
Well, I I mean, my understanding was that anybody would be welcome. It is in the parking lot, which is public space, so if someone from the community dropped by, they wouldn't be turned away. I mean, it's a community event, even though it may be geared towards the Pakistani community, I don't think we would turn anybody away if they were Pakistani or from that community. If they were from Maine Township and they came, it would be open to them. Is that wrong? Am I misinterpreting it?
But nobody's told about it, or, I mean, it's not advertised, it's not, no one in the public is told that they're welcome. If they wander by, they might think it's, like, for instance, a Main Street event or some other.
So if it had been advertised, then you wouldn't have had to fill out the form, is that what you're saying?
Well, I guess we really need to draw a distinction.
Yeah, I think that's what we're trying to do right now.
Right, and I thought, I can comment, I thought the purpose of this was for private people who want to use our facility for a private event.
Well, my
Now,
understanding is a private event.
Well, Asif, I thought he mentioned this before at one of the meetings. I wasn't a much.
He invited everybody to
It
come.
wasn't a private. My understanding, Karen, is he wasn't saying he wanted to have a private event. I thought he meant he wants to do something similar to Indian Night, Pakistani Night, and other facilities that the township sponsors to the public. I didn't think he was trying to do a private event. And that's why I thought this agreement just for people that privately want to use our facilities for their function. I agree with you that we should probably have an agreement and a licensing of some type to protect us, but not when it comes to sponsored events. I wouldn't think this. A sponsored event from the township, which I thought Asif was talking about.
The township isn't doing anything with respect to this. This is.
Okay, well, that's a mistake.
I mean, the township staff hasn't been asked to do anything at all. Township staff doesn't know anything about this event. I don't know who's being invited. I don't know anything about this event.
Maybe it was a little informal, but he didn't really know that.
This
Maybe, so that's all I'm saying.
seems like a communication
Right.
issue,
Right.
rather than anything else. I mean, I think that it is probably a little confusing because, you know, I'm looking at our newsletter and this holy celebration, which also did, which I think is very similar to this, you know, it's in the newsletter on the front page. It went up on our social media, pictures from that. I mean, while it says sponsored by Karen Kieran, Maine Township trustee, I mean, it's coming from the township. Like we're taking the credit for it, but he's doing the work for it. So I think it's just confusing as to sort of the boundaries. And maybe this is good for the public, but maybe there needs to be a separate sort of thing for trustees or for the board that says, you know, you have to give this much notice, you have to, like, maybe we just need like a form that.
Policy.
Right,
Right.
policy or something that's more
Right.
informational, because I feel like there's just a miscommunication and some people are feeling caught off guard by this. And so maybe it's just more of us revising, when we as board members want to do something, we need to, you know, make sure there's, you know, X number of, amount of time given, but I don't know, that's how it comes across to me.
You know, if you look at the previous minute, the last paragraph say, I announced that one and I invited everybody. If you look at the minute for the last meeting, the last
We invited
page.
everyone here in this particular room.
But it's a public meeting and it's
recorded.
The video is on public, it's on our website, so it's a general invitation.
I wouldn't have taken it like that if I was watching the video. I would have taken it that people in the room were invited. But, you know, I don't know how to decide when Asif wants to do something, if this is an Asif's event or a Maine Township event.
This is not my, anytime I did holy event, I did it. But did I?
And that was
No,
fine,
no, no.
because you filled out the form.
Please,
you
let me
filled out the
finish it,
form,
Jan.
And I helped
Please, let me
contribute.
finish it.
That's fine.
No, let me finish it, please. I did the holy event. Did I say in that holy event, this is organized by Malik? I introduced everybody. I gave a chance to everybody to say to the community, you guys have a PR with the Indian community. This one I want to build your relationship PR with the mass people. So if you guys don't want any more doing it, I promise today to my Pakistani community, I am not going to do Indian Culture Day and Pakistan Culture Day in the Maine Township here. That's my promise. I have no more. This is my last program. I'm going to do it because of this. Our supervisor, she's not allowing me to do it this kind of event in the Maine Township, and I can find another place for my community to do this program.
Well, I think I would just go back to what Kelly said. I truly think it's just kind of a miscommunication. I don't think it was your intention to hold a private event.
This is not the whole private event. Yeah.
I agree with you. I think it's maybe we need more boundaries or guidelines on specifics, but in fairness, we did invite everybody at the last meeting and notified everybody that, that you were having an event. So I took it like it was a public event. That was my interpretation, but.
I would agree with that. That was my interpretation of it. But I mean, also, I wasn't involved in any of the other discussions going on, but that was just my overall impression of it, that it was going to be something that was held here for anyone.
So my impression is, was it like the holiday event where you did fill out the agreement and I offered to pay the fee, and it was a private event that was held downstairs. So my understanding of this coming event on Saturday was that it was very similar to that one.
Okay, excuse me, Supervisor Diamond. If that was my private event, why you guys publish in the Maine news? If that was my private event, it shouldn't be in this newspaper.
Well, you have a point there.
No, okay, it shouldn't be here.
I just had a question. Is there something that the board members can do if we as a collective group want to organize a township event? Is there something that we could put in place that would make that a public event where, let's say Asif is trying to do this, but we could make it a township event and not a restricted to a private event? Because I thought this agreement was more for the private citizens.
I agree, and it was because of what happened with the condo association. That's what triggered it, because the condo association, unfortunately, didn't need our space. I mean, they had too many people for fundraisers, so there was a response to that, but I don't.
I mean, you had this weekend, we all went to your tree giveaway, and you organized that, you took care of it, but we all showed up and smiled for the pictures, and, I'm sure that will show up.
In the snow.
In the snow. So, I feel like we all went there with the understanding that we're there supporting you as Maine Township, and this is for our residents, and, but I don't think we were gonna charge you a fee for it, and definitely to have it.
And I think we were all elected as representatives of a community. So for the trustee to hold a community event, you should be allowed to do it.
I mean, is it an issue of maybe not, feeling like the staff has enough notice, or
They didn't really have any notice. It was only last, and so what that meant is then the staff has to scramble to get someone to be here that Saturday night. And I think we do have someone, I think Mike is available, but, that's not always the case. And that's one reason the fee is on there, to pay for the cost of whoever has to come in and either stay at night or come in on a weekend. And it's a very reasonable fee, but that's why that's
Well,
there.
I think if we have some sort of agreement for us, I think then that should be worked in there, that, we can't just spring things on everyone, that we need to give a certain amount of notice, that we need to, maybe there's some steps that we have to follow, we have to notify this person, we have to give this much notice, and, maybe doing something like that, having a process in place would make it, a little bit easier.
Asif, what is going to be required for Saturday? What are hours-wise and everything else?
Okay, that program is 2 o'clock. Mike is already aware of that. 2
It
o'clock.
wasn't night, it was afternoon.
So Mike, no, but I need just the table outside. I don't need any budget or any money from the Maine Township. I only need tables and chairs. That's it. And somebody has to be here, who can, open the building. That's it. Yeah.
But maybe that's the issue, is just.
And there will be no cleaning problem. I promise in the front of the all board member, everything will be clean before the leave. And they prove it when we, did the holy program in the community room. They clean it, everybody clean it before the leave. They have mic, they put the chairs in, everything is done. And there was no issue. And this is a program, nobody is going to drink in the parking lot, there's no drinking, yeah. So it's going to be only the soft drink and Pepsi and Coca-Cola and 7-Up, there's no liquor there,
So maybe do we need to have, is it something separate for if a board member brings something forward where they maybe don't have to pay a fee and just sign an agreement? I mean, can we come up with something as a whole where we could, put that in the future?
The board member is going to do an event and it's open to the general public.
Yes.
Does our lawyer think about that, Kurt? Is there any law that prohibits townships from having sponsored events that are open to the public that aren't generating a profit?
So we can certainly hold the events. I would say generally an individual trustee doesn't have any authority to, on their own, say
Without
so that's why something like this is generally brought to the board. Or so you're either going to have the board voting on it on an event-by-event basis, or if we want to craft some policy about how a request would be made and approved by an individual board member, we can do that. But generally, the individual board member doesn't have any say.
Right. Like a trustee couldn't have a card game, a Super Bowl, a gambling party, without running it by the township. It's common sense. And that's what this facility agreement I thought was for. Private people who want to use our facilities for their private party that doesn't have any connection to Maine Township. Like Karen, people who want to.
My understanding, it would be for any person who wanted to rent it, be it a trustee or any other person who wanted to use a space
For private
for a limited number of people that they were inviting to their event. And it's very reasonable, it's $50. That really doesn't even cover the amount of the time of the employee who's working there, much less moving all those tables.
What was an example of what we're thinking about? What was an example of that? Like a senior citizens club or something like that? What was an example of that?
And we have various clubs that meet here, mostly condo association, some charitable groups meet here.
Stuff like that. That are private entities promoting their own private agenda that doesn't have anything to do with Maine Township. That's what this agreement is.
Like for instance, if a board member wanted to hold a wedding here.
Right.
I think they should have to pay for that.
Right, of course.
Because it would be a private event.
Right, correct.
With their guests.
Right, that's what I thought you were private events. Right.
Right, they wouldn't announce it as a meeting, and they wouldn't.
Maybe they would.
Offer.
Maybe they would if they wanted to invite everyone here.
At public participation stage.
But that would be a private event, so it's like you wouldn't make an announcement at the meeting prior to, and then have it, put it in the board, put it in the newsletter or something like that, because it would be a private event.
Yeah, Asif, I don't think you ever had an intention to have it be a private event, correct? I mean,
No, it's not a private event.
And that's again where it comes back.
And the same thing, when I did the clerk office event, I am the one who invited it, the clerk office. And that's you consider the Maine Township event or my personal event? The clerk of circuit court event?
No, that was obviously an event that was advertised, and it was open to the public, it was put on our social media. The clerk came here, and that was definitely a Maine Township event. Our employees worked here, we advertised it, invited anyone who wanted to come.
And even you asked me the question, when I announced it previously meeting, if anybody come in and they think maybe the program, I say if they come in, we will provide them the food. I have enough food for the people. Even I am going to arrange first. People I invited 60 or 70 people, but food is going to for 120 people. If anybody come, I'm not going to say, oh, no food. Doesn't matter, anybody. If the residents come and they walk, they say, oh, okay, what's going on? Okay, come, we will serve you the food, we will give you the drink. Yeah.
Did you want that on the marquee?
No, I don't want anything on the marquee.
this weekend on Saturday night.
No, we don't want to do that.
I thought it was only under 2 o'clock till 5.
Like 5 o'clock, yeah.
2 to 5.
2 to 5,
So
yes.
Because usually we advertise our public events.
Yeah, we can, if you want, we can invite it. You want to put it on the marquee, I have no issue. Because you have a program going on I think, May 30, that also on the Saturday, right? Is the recycling.
Well, that's not till May 13th.
Yeah.
Well, if we could get it on the marquee, that would draw some
Yes.
eyes to it.
People
Okay.
know what was going on.
Okay, yes.
All right, I haven't seen anything writing about this. And now I understand it's at 2 p.m. Till what time?
5 p.m.
Okay, and what are you calling this event?
Celebrating the Eid al-Fitr with luncheon. I even say in the meeting last time,
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. What is it called, or what should we call this?
celebrate Eid al-Fitr lunch.
Celebrating.
Eid al-Fitr. Eid al-Fitr. Because after the Ramadan we have Eid al-Fitr, so I'm going to celebrate with the community, so.
Okay, 2 p.m. till 5 p.m.?
Yeah, 2 to 5.
Okay.
It'd be a little chilly out there.
As long as it doesn't rain.
Yeah, no rain. It doesn't look like it's gonna rain.
Hopefully no rain.
Anything else we should say about it? Okay. All right, anybody else have any comments on that or anything? All right, so Asif has clarified that this is a township event now, and not a private event, and that it is open to everyone. Although I regret that we couldn't really advertise it more, because we would like everyone in the community to be able to come, and we haven't done any advertising so far. So we can do a couple things. We can pass the facility event space license agreement with the understanding that this event on Saturday is not a private event, as Asif has now explained. Or we can table it, or someone, if they want to here, can rewrite it. Someone wants to do that. Someone wants to volunteer to do that, they can.
Well, I think the facility agreement still can be amended regardless of the process of it.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think this for the public is fine. I think
Yeah.
it's just a question of maybe we want something different that addresses, us giving a certain amount of notice, us, things like that for board members, so that nobody feels caught off guard, that it doesn't negatively impact staff. Sort of like a guideline for trustees that want those events.
Right. And maybe,
Well, someone can work on that if they'd like. Someone can, perhaps if you want to take the responsibility for doing that. But, so what I hear you keep saying, Kelly, is your other ways of paying with the amended facility event space license agreement, is that correct?
As far as for the public and all of that, and then I guess my suggestion is to come up with some sort of guidelines.
All right,
For
will you
us.
work on that?
I can do that.
Okay, all right, great. All right, okay, so we have a motion then to pass the facility event space license agreement as amended.
Motion to pass the facility event space license agreement as amended.
Second.
Any other further questions, comments about the agreement as amended?
just as I look at it, Karen, I just want to make it clear that it's for private people who want to use our facilities. I don't think it says that. Look
Well,
at it. So-
again, I think it's possible that board members may want to rent one of these spaces for their own private events.
I agree.
In which case, they would be governed by this.
Well, yeah, of course. And then it should say any person, whoever they are, who's doing something for a private person. It's not, just rephrasing it. So you're right, the trustee can't just decide for himself to have a private event, I agree. But you gotta say it in the document, it doesn't say that.
Well, why don't you and Kelly work together for a supplemental agreement?
Sure, yeah, that's fine.
All right?
So I'd rather not.
Because I don't really,
Yeah.
I don't know exactly how you want to approach it, the two people work on it, okay?
Sure, and I don't wanna vote on it this time until we make a couple more clarifications to it.
Well,
That's all.
you could make that a supplemental agreement, so we could at least get this out of the way.
That's, is there a real urgency why we have to vote on this today and get it out of the way? I mean, why can't we just rewrite it a little bit more clearly to clarify the discussion that we had today?
You want to table it?
Yeah. I don't think there's anything negative about that, right? I agree with what everyone's saying. We should have an agreement. We should charge people who have strictly private events, whether they're trustees or supervisors or anyone wants to have a private event, you have to follow the rules with the private events, as distinguishable from Maine Township sponsored events, which we often allow and talk about.
So are you going to write up something as to how to distinguish the
If
two?
you want me to, sure. I'd be glad to.
Okay, you and Kelly are going to work on that?
Sure.
He's a lawyer, so I'm holding the part to.
Well,
I'm just going to come up with the rules for guidelines for trustees to have.
Kurt's
Sponsor
idea was key too. Kurt, what were your specific, what your language was? You mentioned your.
I think that policy to clarify that when it's going to be a township sponsored event from a trustee, this is the process that we have to follow. And for anything else, we would use that.
Okay, so we're on the same wavelength with you then, I think? Thank you.
So then does that mean we can just vote on this as is because this is for private events?
No, we're going to amend it.
We'll table it, and then we can
Table it in the next meeting.
The next
meeting.
So I have to rescind my
The
motion.
next meeting.
Oh, you can make a second table it if that's what you want to do.
Is that what you?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to table
Okay.
any vote that we're going to take to approve the agreement as it exists. Till we had a chance to revise it, work it out a little bit. Kelly and I, and anyone else who wants to have an input in drafting it.
I second it.
Okay?
Did I have to do that, or? Okay, okay.
Okay, sorry.
All right.
Okay.
All right, so we have a motion to table.
Supervisor Diamond?
I would say no.
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Horvath?
Yes.
Trustee Maher?
Yes.
Trustee Believe?
Yes.
Okay, let's go on to the next item now, which is approval of the appointment of residents Susan Moncrief, Peter Gilamas, and Robert Bud Phillips to the Decennial Committee. Now, we've talked about the Decennial Committee in the past. We know that the state is requiring us to hold one of these committees. I am charged with appointing people to the committee. You know, over the past few months, I've been asking repeatedly for suggestions as to who to appoint. I haven't gotten any suggestions, but I decided that our assessor and our clerk are in fact residents and therefore are qualified to serve on this committee. Now I should note that of course Ed Debate is also a resident, but Ed has to hold his own committee. He has to create and appoint members to his own committee. So that's why I didn't pick on him. What I guess we need now, according to Kurt, is a motion to approve the appointment of Susan Moncrief, Peter Gilamas, and Robert Bud Phillips, so I think you all know, to the Decennial Committee.
And I think we just want to make clear that's to the township.
The Township Committee,
Committee, and then we'll.
as opposed to the Highway Committee, because they have to have their own committee.
Okay.
Is that a motion?
Wonderful choices. Yes. Motion for the approval to appoint Resident Susan Moynihan Pride, Peter Gilamas, and Robert Bud Phillips to the Decennial Committee.
Second.
Okay, any discussion on that? Okay, roll call.
Supervisor Diamond?
Yes.
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Horvath?
Yes.
Trustee Maher?
Yes.
Trustee Believe?
Yes.
All right, so I think, and in terms of his committee, also has to appoint 2 residents. So Ed, have you made a choice?
Yes, thank you Supervisor Diamond. Like you, I have to appoint our distinguished board to the Highway Department Decennial Committee, along with our wonderful residents, Susan Moylan Cray and Peter Giolanis. So I would like to request a motion for the approval of the Highway Department Descending Committee with those members.
Is there a motion to appoint those individuals to the Highway Decennial Committee?
Good, another committee.
Yes, I'll make a motion to appoint those named individuals to the Highway Decennial Committee.
Second.
Okay, all right, roll call.
Supervisor Diamond?
Yes?
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Horvath?
Yes.
Trustee Maher?
Yes.
Trustee Williams?
Yes.
Do we not have to do this one as a joint committee?
We're in a county that is too large.
Oh, it's in the
to allow
county. I
for
was thinking the township.
Right.
Got it.
So you do have in front of you a draft, and we're not acting on it tonight. I'm just giving this to you for your information and review. This draft is based on a form that the township officials of Illinois has on their website and has suggested that we use. We don't have to use this form, but they've suggested that we use this form. I think it's probably a good one. I think Jens Blink actually worked on this form. So I just give that to you for your review. Now, we have to meet 3 times within the next 18 months. So I suggest we meet for the first time. This doesn't really count as a meeting tonight. That we meet for the first time at 7 p.m. Next month. And I imagine it will be a very short meeting, just like our budget meetings, so that we will have our first decennial meeting, and there should be on the, we'll talk about the agenda. It'll be a separate meeting at 7 p.m., also covered by the Open Meetings Act, and then to be immediately followed by the regular board meeting, on the regular board meeting date next month.
The 23rd.
What is that?
23rd.
23rd of May. 23rd. So, would you like to hold your committee meeting immediately after that, and then we'll hold the regular board meeting? Would you like to do that? Because we have to hold the first meeting by June 10th or something like that. So,
That could be enough time if you want to.
right.
Yeah.
So
We could do that.
it'll be 7 p.m. on May 23rd. Will be the town meeting, town decennial meeting, and then to be immediately followed, also May 23rd, by the Highway Department Decennial Committee, and to be followed by the regular board meeting. Right, now we're up. Okay, and I'll let Mr. Phillips know about it.
So starting, to clarify, Karen, starting time on the 23rd is?
7 p.m. is usual.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Karen, I could put a time on the agenda for the regular board meeting, so what time?
I think we'll just put 7 p.m., just like we do with the budget hearing.
I usually put 7:05.
Okay, all right, put 7:05 and 7:10.
7:10?
7:05 for the highway, 7:10 for the regular.
Talk fast.
All right, so we've got that on our calendar. Another thing I wanted to mention this evening during our official reports, and I'm going to turn that over to other people in just a minute, is that we have had a couple promotions within the township staff. Austin left, he resigned this past month, and Kathy Sedini was promoted to be the new head of general assistance. And I had hoped she could be here tonight, but she did have a prior conflict. But Luz Meneses, Luz, I'm sorry, would you like to stand up? I think everybody knows you, but we just want to wave hi. Has taken over as the deputy, so she's stepping into Kathy's shoes. Please pass our congratulations on to Kathy, too. Sorry she could not be here this evening. So thank you for coming. Okay, all right. So also coming up, well, I'll let some other people talk about some events that they have. Susan, you want to mention anything? Any reports?
Can I ask you something too? I have some other things in my packet here that weren't on the agenda. Is it just for my information?
I don't know what you're talking about. What the
Okay.
heck?
The resolution number 2023-7.
Scrolling to the last meeting.
Oh, is that from?
Scrolling from last.
That was last, okay. I really don't have too much to say this time because we're just extremely busy. I will give kudos to the people who have been helping out with us, and that's the clerk's department and with GA, with them coming over and helping our residents. We've had a huge influx of people. We've had to use the boardroom. We had Mike and Jessica set up chairs in here, chairs next to our office. The girls at the front desk had special instructions. We've had numbers for people to come, and we try to keep our hallway clean, cleared because of the fire department. So I will give numbers on that next month because we are working very hot and heavily on trying to get these exemptions put in. We've been void exemptions for the senior police for the last couple of years. And because of COVID, now they've reinstated it. And not only did they reinstate it, but they gave us a new procedure on what to do. So at the counter, we're with people up to 15 minutes, talking, getting their application. And it takes another 10 to 25 minutes to put the application through to the Cook County assessor, with us having to scan and then download and then actually fill out the application with them. So we had a lot going on with that. But I just wanted to see if staff saw these approved letters for, the boards received these really nice letters for my staff and showing their appreciation, the public showing their appreciation to them because they really are working hard. And don't even have we're taking half-hour lunches, and they're working through class. So that's what I have going on right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan. And I know your staff's been working really, really hard. There are people sitting out here, it's very noisy, a lot of people working around.
Yeah, and I'm there
Take
too,
them all.
working hard. So, thank you.
Yeah, I'll be quick. I just want to say congratulations to Luz and Kathy. You girls have been here a long time, so you deserve it. So congratulations. I also want to thank everybody for coming out to the tree giveaway event last weekend. I know we experienced every weather pattern that was available, hail, rain, sunshine, but all the residents really appreciated people coming out and giving up their time for that event. As far as the next events that I'm going to be involved in will be the Memorial Day wreath tribute at Lake Opeka, and also the parade in Park Ridge for the Memorial Day parade. That's a good day of remembrance. So if anybody on the board would like to join me at either of those two events, they are more than welcome. Thank you.
What's the first one, Eddie?
The first event is Lake Opeka. It's for the NPFW wreath ceremony.
EFW on the 21st.
And then also
for the parade?
No, that's after. Well, it's tough to get to both sometimes, so I'm gonna have to split up my staff and myself.
So Ed, do you have any flyers you could forward to me and I'll forward to everyone else? Because I don't have anything from Park Ridge on that.
Yeah, I mean, I could forward you the contact that I have. I never really get a flyer. I just kind of look it up and then look at the parade was going on.
Okay.
But I could forward everybody the contact if you'd like.
All right, and that's actually on Memorial Day, so
It's on.
okay. I want to ask you also, there's some parades coming up 4th of July.
Yes.
And I've got a flyer from Niles parade. I think you get the flyer from Des Moines. For some reason or other, I don't seem to get their flyer.
Yeah, I don't know, they keep inviting me back. They must be doing something.
All right. I don't know if you want to march together with us as we did last year. I think we all marched as a group last year.
Yeah, that's fine.
Would you fill out the form for all of us then for Des Moines?
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know if you have to put down a number of people and how
I
many trucks.
submitted displays. I usually just put 2 trucks because we only have one, and I always leave room for a second. So
So, I'm sorry, what does that mean? Should we bring a truck too? or-
If you'd like to, yeah, I'd leave room for it. If not, then I can always add another truck.
Because we usually bring the OEM.
Right.
Yeah, all right, so you'll put that down too?
Yeah, I just put 2 vehicles.
All right, so, should I fill out the 4th of July one separate, I suppose?
For which one?
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, that's up to you, whatever you want to do.
Okay. Okay, all right.
We could fill it out together, or we could fill it out separate.
All right, well, I'll talk to you later. How many people think they're going to go to Memorial Day? Well, let me ask about Memorial Day first.
Memorial Day, yeah.
Usually,
As long as I'm in town, I'll be there.
Yeah.
Okay, what about 4th of July? Is that, okay, how about that?
Thank you.
God bless you.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, just a second. All right. Okay. All right, Pete, did you want to?
Just a quick thank you for everybody for coming out to their annual town meeting, for Senator Laura Murphy for acting as moderator, for Trustee Maher acting as parliamentarian. It was a great night, as always. That's all I've got.
Did you want to talk about Liberty Watch?
As usual, I would like to invite the community, any residents in Maine Township to our monthly neighborhood watch meeting, which is always the first Wednesday of the month here in this room at 7 p.m. We usually have Maine Township Fire Department and Cook County Sheriff's representatives, so we can express any concerns or issues that you may have, and hopefully we can straighten those out for you, our residents. And I wanted to thank Highway Commissioner for the tree event, the birthday event. It was an excellent event. And the trees that were donated were absolutely beautiful. So, I think the residents should be very pleased with that. So thank you very much. And that's it.
Agency Day is May 5th. Everybody knows about that and have signed up if they want to go? Okay, all right. Electronics recycling on May 13th. Marie told us about the 90th birthday celebration on May 18th. Would you like to add anything, Kelly?
I mean, just the same that everybody said. I really enjoyed Ed's event on Saturday. Everybody's really happy with their trees.
All right. By the way, the Niles, I understand there's a Niles Pride Parade on June 13th too. So if anyone is available for that, I can put you in contact with the coordinators. I have something else that day, but if we have some other representative in the parade, that'd be good. So just let me know. I also want to thank everyone for filing their statement of economic interest on time. That's great. Jim, did you have anything you wanted to add?
Just thanks again, Eddie. I was at that event. That was a great event. Thanks to Kim. I was at one of her neighborhood watch meetings as well. It's always a great event. And I'm sorry I missed some of the events in April. I noticed in May we don't have any anger management groups. It's one event I'd like to attend and learn what we do for at that event. And maybe Bruce can help me with that. I'm not sure who handles those events. Rich? I talked to Richard, okay.
Yeah, that's our department.
It looks like there's none scheduled in May, but there were several in April and March, so I'll reach out to Rich and try to attend one of those and learn about anger management. Yes, yes, yes. And I'd also like to learn what Richard does, among many things he does. Yeah. If it incidentally benefits my anger issues, so be it.
Okay, Joseph, did you have anything you wanted to mention?
Yeah, I want to thank Eddie and his staff, hard working on the last Saturday, to give away tea to the community. I again invite everybody on April 29. I'm inviting Supervisor Diamond, April 29, 2 o'clock in the parking lot, 1700 Ballard Road. So please join us for that event, please. Thank you.
Okay, does anyone have anything else? All right, do you have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second. Okay.
Supervisor Diamond?
Yes.
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Corbat?
Yes.
Trustee Maher? Yes. Trustee Malika?
Oh, yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.